What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be something a little different for you guys. We actually had someone ask us to make a draft video for each division in a league that we're going to be joining. As you can see on the screen is the WPF, and we actually have him in call right now.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Rizzo. I'm actually the league commissioner for the WPF. There are 4 divisions that we have in the World Pokemon Federation, where A has the All-Stars on down to D, where the newer coaches. So we're going to be breaking down each of the original drafts of all 64 coaches over a 4-video series, I guess.
It's going to be a lot. And
quite
fun.
A bit.
And fun.
Lots to talk about. When we can, we're going to be joined by the by some of the division moderators that we've got in the WPF, but that's not going to be in every video thing, just because we're all busy and we got personal lives too.
So far we have confirmed none for A. We do have some for B, and we'll see on the other 2 when we get to this.
We'll see.
I do have a little Easter egg in the videos. If you guys can figure them out between all 4 videos, it's the same Easter egg spread out through all 4. The first person that gets it will get something. I don't know what yet. We'll figure it out.
Super obscure. I definitely wouldn't have gotten it if you wouldn't have told me 45 seconds before we started recording.
Well, I would never have gotten it either. All right, let's have some fun and let's get into the first person. We got Yo.
So first,
go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
We got Pierre and his Empoleon FC with a really sick logo.
Yeah, so I think the logo is really one of the only things that I'm really digging about the draft. I like his team in part. Like, I really dig Regice. It's got more special defense than Florges, but it's really all it kind of brings to the table. But I can't think of something to counteract his huge fighting weakness on this team worse than Tornadus and Sand, which gets even less accurate Hurricanes. And that's kind of my big beef with the team.
Uniclus and Toxapex can at least somewhat take a couple fighting hits.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's got a great regen core. Well, yeah, I don't know if you call that a core. He's got 4 of them. That's half his team.
He's just going to keep switching him until they run out of fighting type PP.
Yeah, really. All it takes is toxic spikes from Toxapex, and then it's a switch fest.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't really like the Regice on the team either. I don't think it helps a whole lot, to be honest. At least with like Electros and Tornadus and Tangela, he gets rid of some of his ground weakness too, because that's like kind of the problem with Sand is your whole team is going to be weak to ground.
Yep. And what's a ground team without Stoutland? Handlebar mustache dog.
I'm a new person getting into Sand. Like I love all the other weathers, and I've just now drafted a Sand team here recently. I'm starting to really like it.
It's super powerful. I will say that I'm glad that he drafted the base form of Tyranitar as opposed to the mega form of Tyranitar, because that smooth rock option is so pivotal when you have X.
All right, you're really hurting me because I just recently grabbed Mega T-Tar.
Well, there you go. So I actually use quad weather on the regular. I love the weather aspects to Pokemon and hope that they add a 5th one in the future. I don't know what it would be, but that'd be really cool. So we'll see how he does with it. He's a really good battler. He moved up from B division this past season because the top 4 players of each division move up when they return back. So he got promoted. So he's a new face around A division, and I think he's going to do pretty good.
All right, let's move along to one of the weirder. Oh no, different guy. To the Toronto Swablu Jays. I don't know if I said that right, but
yeah, this is a weird one, man, because I don't think I've ever seen Marini drafted in a regular draft league. Like I'm told it's very thick, but it's a little cup mon, so I don't know.
I mean, I've seen Roselia drafted, so I mean, I guess it's kind of the same.
I suppose so. Yeah, definitely.
Does it even get toxic spikes? Let's see.
I imagine so. I don't know.
I'm also like terrible at Little Cup, and so I don't know any of the Little Cup Pokemon.
Yeah.
It does get toxic spikes. So, I mean, at least it has that, and its stats aren't the worst.
When you slap an EV light on it, that's a little better.
Yeah, it gives it like 104 defense and 104 SPDF. So I mean,
right.
That's not the worst.
So Nintendo's team has a huge array of priority options that I think really help out his squad, because he's got fairly mediocre speed tiers. Like at the higher end, he's up with like Pyroar, I think at like 106, Lycanroc Day at 112, and Latias at 110. And that's like the highest he goes. But he's got like E-Speed on Linoon, Cell Rock on Lycanroc Day, Mach Punch from Conkeldurr, stuff like that. That's really going to help out his speed tier situation.
He doesn't have too much like immediate offense though, in my opinion. Like Mega Altaria is gonna want to Dragon Dance, Linoon's want to Belly Drum, Conkeldurr might want to like bulk up. Steela's gonna be mostly mostly bulky. So it's leaving you like Rotomo and Latias and a little bit of Pyroar.
You're also forgetting the powerhouse that is Marini. You just looked up his stats, and I'm surprised you didn't see that astonishing. What it's like 35 base special attack or something.
43 special attack, 53 attack.
Hey, looky there, killing people.
Nice.
But so between like ice and really a fighting weakness, like he's got a lot of those shared weaknesses on his team. He's got 2 dragons, he's got 2 normal types. Yeah, and that's about it. His steel is part flying. So like he's not even a hard ice resist and a steel type, and he's not a hard fighting resist with the flying type. So it's Celesteela is definitely a defensive beast, but it's really not doing the rest of his team composition any favors.
And even with those speed tiers with those few couple mons, even with that, people can still be running Modest and Adamant all over town, and their Scarfers don't have to run too much speed either. Just Adamant and Modest tearing through his team.
There you go. Sounds about right.
All right. Moving on to, what's this, 14?
14, yep. We are starting at 16 and working our way down to the number 1. So this is my good buddy Electric with a hilarious logo, by the way. I absolutely love it, called the Breath Mints. He's got little Salaman's head popping out of the gum. I love that logo. Anyway, his gimmick for this draft was a mono Gen 7 draft. So if you see everything on his team is from Sun and Moon.
Lots of UBs. I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, this man has unparalleled sweeping potential, but that's really about it. I don't know. Like he was giving me a little bit of crap in the power rankings that I released to the league because I mentioned that only a couple of his mons had reliable recovery, and he thought that not having access to Heal Bell or Healing Wish wasn't really that big of a deal. But I'm a huge support advocate. I really enjoy those sort of tech options on different things, like Mega Altaria getting Heal Bell or Latias getting Healing Wish or something like that. Adds a different dynamic to just how he's got the 3 Ultra Boost, where he's just steamrolling through entire teams in a pretty mono dynamic sort of.
He's got absolutely terrible removal. Like, you don't want to be running Defog on Kartana. Drampa can have it, but it's kind of a wasted move slot, in my opinion. Does Toucannon get Defog? I've never used Toucannon.
I'm sure it does. I don't know of any bird that doesn't get it.
He does get Defog. Even
Looky
then,
there.
3 terrible Defoggers, no spinners. Just not looking good for your boy here.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of his mons. So I did put an incorrect note in the little comment thing that I had made. He's got more mons with reliable recovery than I previously thought, because I forgot the Palisand gets Shore Up and Drampot gets Roost. Just weird little things like that. Like Buzzwole gets Roost. Toucannon does, obviously. So it's not the worst situation in the world. It's definitely a really interesting team.
Yeah, interesting is the key word there. All right, so we're moving on to number 13 in the Nassau Nidokings.
Nassau? No, NASA?
I think it's Nassau.
He's gonna send me so many hate messages after we get done recording this. But
so let's make it worse. Nisau?
Nisau, the Nido.
Oh, dang it! That's what I was about to say. Nidokings.
Yeah, Nidokongs. I dig his team. Not as like he's got Persian, like Kanto Persian. I don't know what Kanto Persian does, because in my mind, when I think of the Persians, I think of Parting Shot and like Knockoff.
It gets Fake Out Last Resort, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I'm sure it does, but
yeah, Fake Out Last Resort's pretty decent with a Silk Scarf.
Yeah. It's 70 base attack. I'm not terribly worried about it.
Well, that's why it's in a tier 5 though.
Right.
I'm a fan of any Mega Latios team. I love
Yeah.
Mega
So
Latios.
we actually voted to ban Mega Latias and Mega Mawile this season in WPF because we felt like they had too much of a negative impact on the meta in the last draft league season, in season 2. So Mega Latios is actually, in my opinion, the most busted Mega you can get, and he managed to get it super late in round 1, like pick 9 or 10, I think. But he's got a lot of things that really kind of support his Mega Latios here.
Yeah, the way people did it was really weird. So like in A, you said he got it like 8 or 9. B, I got it at like 9 or 10, or no, 6 or 7, I think. C got it like pick 2. Wait, I'm doing it in reverse. I'm in C. B got it like pick 2. I got it, a little bit later in like 6 or 7, and then D got it, I think, first 1, 2, or 3 picks, something like that. So it's really weird how people either really loved it or didn't really care for it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So 2 issues that I've personally got with this team is that his speed tiers are kind of all over the place, and he's also got he's really got no dark resist on his team. Like he's got Aromatisse, I think, as being his only real solid resist there, but like he's got, again, 2 normal types, 2 ghosts, psychic, really weak to dark, and there's not much to stop it. But then also his speed tiers where you've got Aromatisse, Snorlax, Ferrothorn, all way down at the bottom, and then you've got Chandelure and Gliscor, kind of Mantine, like up in the sort of little pocket around like the 70 to 95 area. But then you jump up even higher where it's 110 with Latios, 115 with Persian, 130 with Jolteon. It's a solid range, but I feel like there should be more synergy, like in increments of like 5 or 10, as opposed to like jumping 20 at a time.
I don't see, other than Chandelure, a good Scarfer either, and so the only speed they have to get to is whatever Jolteon hits. What would you say it was?
It's 130.
That's all they have to beat with a Scarf, because I don't really see Choice Scarf Gliscor or Decidueye or anything like that really helping the team. I think another trick.
Scarf Chandelure is a pretty big thing.
Well, yeah, but you'll know exactly, like, it's a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's telling your opponent your prep before the game even starts.
Yeah,
if you know
I can see how
a Pokemon that's weak to fire or ghost, and it's faster than Chandelure, well, boom, Chandelure's going to be Scarfed. Like, it's just too obvious.
I don't know. John runs some pretty heat sets. I guess we'll have to wait and see. In my mind, I seem to remember him running defensive Chandelure a lot. Flame Body is really cool with something that resists U-turn hit.
I see Mega Sableye just tearing a hole through this team right here.
Oh man, don't give his opponents any sort of don't tell them about the tech.
Oh, there's no tech. It's just own Mega Sableye and you win.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that.
You want to announce the next team?
Yeah, no, we'll go ahead and slide on to the 12th seed. So this is Grimes' team. He's the Bermuda Basculin, as you can tell by that wonderful piece of logo art that he sent me a little while ago.
Oh, he didn't. Oh, I didn't get what he sent you. I made that one.
Oh, did you really? Oh no. I remember now. He like drew something in Microsoft Paint in like 30 seconds. Sent it to me. Yeah, you remember that.
It was way too late.
But okay, so on Grimes' team, one thing that I found really kind of weird is that you've got Mega Garchomp on this team, but no other sort of sand element at all. Like it's not necessary because it doesn't have any sort of like sand rush. That would be absolutely fantastic if it did get sand rush, but normally see some sort of weather component on like a Mega Garchomp team.
Maybe he's planning on like setting it himself. Like, let's see, does Aerodactyl get it?
It might,
it does get it. Maybe he's just planning on setting it himself rather than having a Pokemon that could do that.
That's the thing, maybe. He has got great speed tiers on the higher end, where it goes from 100 in Manaphy to like 115 in Persian to 130 and then 143. I really dig this team's tiers. It's kind of odd to me that he's got. Oh wait, no, what was I about? I just lost it. I don't know. What do you think about the team, man?
That's okay. I think he's got a solid amount of like hazards and hazard control. I do think Trick Room might be an issue for him if he ever has to face it. Let's see. Really, he's only got like Scissor to deal with the Trick Room mons to maybe outslow something. Other than that, everything else is going to be problematic for him in the Trick Room unless he wants to run some Iron Balls on a bunch of his team.
Iron Ball Serena, that could be a thing. I am a huge fan of Serena's ability, and I wish more Pokemon got it.
What's the Pokemon? The terrible Pokemon no one ever uses that has Dazzling.
Dazzling. I'm not sure.
It's the Gen 7 fish.
Oh, Milotic's thing. Feebas.
No, it gets Dazzling. Hang on, I got this.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Bruxish. Oh, that terrible Pokemon.
Oh, does that do roughly the same thing?
It's the same thing, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't use it ever, so I wouldn't really know that.
You don't play Ranbats then?
No, I absolutely do not.
That's the only reason I know that terrible Pokemon.
And that's mainly why.
Alrighty, let's see. Let's do one more thing about this team before we go. What positive thing do you want to say about his team?
I think he's found the most offensive mid-tier Pokemon that I can think of in Kadabra. It's a very fast, very hard-hitting tier 5 that I feel like you have to run Focus Sash like every game because at Eviolite you're not tanking any sort of hit with that mon, so.
Or just Magic Guard Life Orb. Just kill stuff before it ever has to hit you.
Right. I mean, it's 105 base speed and 120 special attack, so it's on par with a lot of like the tier 3 or tier 4 psychics anyway. It just has 40 HP and 30 defense, so Shuckle kills it.
I like that he got a wish passer. Ugh, that's hard to say. A wish passer with Florges for some of his Pokemon that would just really, really helped out with that, like Mega Garchomp, Scissor and Manaphy.
Yeah, no, definitely.
If he wants to run a very offensive Scissor without Roost, it would really help it out with getting that wish from Florges.
Yep. It's a cool team. Excited to see what he does with it this season.
All right. The worst team in all 4 drafts.
The absolute worst team, my team. So my idea going into the draft here was that I wanted to utilize mixed attackers with heavier sides of bulk. So like Mega Venusaur, you can run like Power Whip, Earthquake, Knockoff. Tornadus gets a plethora of moves on both sides as well as Infernape. But then I noticed after the fact that my two big offensive threats that I was really kind of focusing on were both weak to Psychic and Flying, and that led to some snipes that we'll talk about here in a minute. But moreover, I wanted to patch those up as much as I can. So I got something like Vikavolt and Regirock to kind of help with like a shared sort of ground weakness because I wasn't crazy about my grass type not being a solid ground resist. Suicune is bulky as shit. So is Bronzong. Piloswine also kind of eats a hit, but I'm happy-ish with the draft, but I'm probably gonna have to make some free agent moves pretty soon.
Yeah, Vikavolt might not want to be taking those flying type attacks as well.
No, absolutely not.
Because my problem with Mega Venusaur is always having a very good dark type, or at least a very good psychic resist, and then a very good flying resist. If you have either of those, or can take out that big threat, Mega Venusaur just walls everything.
Yep. Which is why Bronzong is there, but Bronzong is only one mon, and I don't have wish support on this, which I think is something that I could definitely stay from.
Yeah, I liked how you had like a good mix of things that could, what's the word? Very good utility. Like Infernape could run tons of different sets. Physical, special, sweeper, stealth rock, endeavor, focus sash. I mean, just you name it. Suicune is going to be something people have to prep for every single week, or they will instantly lose.
It does the same thing every single week, and I love that about certain mons.
And yet people still are like, I never saw Calm Mind Scald coming. Dang it.
You know what? Don't talk about my friend Decker like that, all right?
Oh, man.
It happens to the best of us.
Rest in peace, Decker.
Rest in peace, Decker.
giving away, when this was recorded. That's all right.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're
So
kind of doing it a little bit after the fact, but we're
Komala
having.
is my favorite low tier pick here. I'm a huge fan of Komala because everyone always thinks it's just like going to be a bulky rapid spinner. It probably will have like return or something like that. And they always sleep on it because Komala to me is like the physical X-Cloud. You can run Choice Banded or Choice Scarfed, Sleep Talk Last Resort.
That's the set that I was just thinking about. I'm going to use that one of these weeks before we cancel out the season and I inevitably don't make playoffs. I am for sure bringing that set at least one.
I had it in my second draft in RWL, and I'm telling you, like, I'm looking at all the calcs, and I'm like, is this serious? And I'm looking at the 6 months he has, and like, I had webs up. I could have got, I think, all 6 kills with Komala. I chose to give it to my Mega, but I could have gotten all 6 kills, even with just like a little bit of Rock's chip. Last Resort would have killed all 6 Pokemon. It was nuts.
115 base attack.
I
Nothing
love
wrong with it.
Kamala. Oh, and like it came out of nowhere for him too. Like he lost.
When it gets really cool coverage too, it's really interesting where it gets Seed Bomb, Woodhammer, Play Rough, Knock Off, like Wish, U-Turn, all these really cool kind of tech options, but it's just a little weak on the physical defense side, and that's about it.
I think it's a really solid like Assault Vest user too. It's just overall a really good low tier pick.
Definitely.
All right, let's move on to the PC Soul.
The PC Soul. So the first thing that I want to say about this team is fuck you for stealing my Murkrow, Alfredo, right out the gate.
Oof.
The pick very before mine on the last round. Like, oh, this is going to be a great dark type for my team. Like, I'll be able to do all kinds of prankster, defog, tailwind shenanigans, and then it got sniped like the pick, and I'm still salty to this day about it. So I'll get you back this week.
Ooh, what, you play him week 1?
Yeah, yep. The week we're currently on. Yeah, no, he's got a really good team though. I really dig it. He's got a lot of setup threats that you really had to be mindful for. Also, the Sableye, as inundating as it sounds, you have to prep for it as well because Prankster on some of those tech moves that it gets can be really annoying. I don't know how I feel about having three different Eviolite users on the same team. It seems like it's really prone to knockoff spam, especially given the fact that you've got 2 psychic types. But I don't know. I guess we'll see how it works for him.
And a lot of his Pokemon really don't want to be knocked off. Like Amoonguss and Cineroar really don't want to be knocked off. Finny really needs like leftovers if that's what you're running. It really needs that. And so he's pretty knockoff weak in a sense. So not like to die for, but losing all of his items would be absolutely terrible.
I mean, you run the chance of getting static paralyzed on Zapdos, which I think is great on this team as well.
That's true. I don't know because I forgot about reading the rules for this specific league, but Swagger Foul Play is Prankster Swagger is unbanned on Showdown, and so Sableye can run Prankster Swagger, and that's.
Well, in the league though,
you banned it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Because I seem to remember looking up the rules for OU, and that was what I based the basic rules off of in the league. So if it's banned at OU, it's banned here unless otherwise specified.
I think it's unbanned in OU now.
Ah, well.
RIP. I guess we'll have to figure that out before week 1.
Yeah, I'll have to say that to somebody.
We can check it after the battle or after the video.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
All right. One last thing. Let's see. I really like his Fairy Dragon Steel Core. Zygarde can swap into Finny for all of its ice type attacks it needs to dodge.
I actually am not a huge fan of Zydog with Finny because Misty Terrain is weakening its outrage. So you're really limiting Zygarde's already limited move pool to just 1,000 arrows, 1,000 waves, and extreme speed.
That's
Stone
all.
Edge.
That's all
maybe.
You need is 1,000 arrows.
It's just one less tool out of the pocket of something that didn't really have a lot of tools to begin with.
We'll just run an air balloon.
Yep, that's a thing too. But then, you know what? You're not running bans, so I'll take it.
That's true. Yeah, it's not the best pair. I still like it, but I'm trying to think of something nice.
It's a solid team. Like the margin of, I don't want to say error because that's not quite the word I'm shooting for, but the difference between all of these teams in the power rankings is so small. Like they're all really good teams, aside from Pierre's, but they're all really good teams, and it's hard to separate them. So much so that like the difference between rank 10 and rank 11 is huge. It's really not. So to say something is a bad team, like it's just slightly better or slightly worse in my mind than the next one, which if we're moving on to rank 9, that would be Casper's draft.
The actual worst logo in the whole draft.
I don't know. We saw Jared's logo for the B division video.
You mean we will see it?
Oh yeah, no, we will see it because again, we're totally not recording in the future tense here. Anyway, Masquerain is a shitty Pokemon and you can't tell me otherwise.
No.
You just can't.
I'll tell you otherwise. Any Intimidate Pokemon is valuable. It's quad resisting fighting. You get Sticky Web. You get Quiver Dance. It's not bad.
I don't know of one single fighting type, aside from like Tyrogue, maybe, that doesn't also get rock coverage. And for a flying bug that I think is like 80 base speed, like it's not the greatest offensively. Anyway, it does get Quiver Dance. You're right. It absolutely does.
All right, let's see. I'm about to look
on it. Oh, not that bad.
You said Tyrogue, but oh, Hitmonchan gets it. Okay, let's see. You said Tyrogue, so I'll put in Hitmonchan.
Well, that's all right.
Oh, I put +1, not my. Whoops. Okay, you got me. It still does a lot of damage.
Yeah, well, you can factor in the Intimidate as well because I think it'll almost always be running Intimidate.
I did. It still dies.
Oh man.
Adamant Rock Slide still kills it.
So 2 notes in my mind for this team. It's extremely fighting weak. Extremely fighting. So he's got, 3 rock types, 2 normal types, and then, Mega Gardevoir, I'll mention too. Quad resist fighting, but also Heatran is weak to fighting. So that's fun,
Aurora's
I guess.
is quad weak to it. Lycanroc Midnight, you can't miss your high jump kicks.
Yeah, it is no guard. That's right. It doesn't even get any of the cool abilities like Sand Rush or Tough Claws.
It's just making it worse.
Oh yeah, glaring hole there. If he can manage to get Sticky Webs up with Masquerain, I really feel like the combination of Terrakion, Heatran, even like Mega Gardevoir and Garchomp as breakers will function fantastic.
Yeah, I
or
like
Skyman even.
I like how Swellow can be ran either way too. Swellow is one of those that's really hard to predict whether it's going to be like a Specs Boom Burst or a Flame Orb Guts set.
Right.
And you'll never know which one it's going to be.
Which is good and bad. That sort of versatility is the sort of thing that I went for back on my team because in Swellow's case, while you're right, you don't really know if it's going to be physical or special. They're both its dual stab is still resisted by steel type, which every team is going to have a.
Sure, but he's got good coverage for that, like Heatran, Terrakion, and Garchomp to deal with those.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that's about it, I think.
I think that's about it. Gotta get off this terrible logo. God. Moving on to the Rhode Island Reggies. Another one of my favorite megas. I haven't used it too much, but when I have used the little that I have used it, I really liked Mega Lopunny.
It's so fast. That's something that I really appreciate that I forget about sometimes. It's a little bit of a meme draft because he's got solid components where Tangrowth, Latios, Clefable, and Empoleon are all serious mons. But then he just went on this really weird Gen 3 bug craze and got Illumise and Volbeat, the male and female counterpart, the Hoenn bug. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if there's some sort of hidden tech that I'm not aware of, but in singles it seems to me like that's kind of a meme.
Well, they both have really good tech, but Baton Pass would have to be legal.
Which it is. You just can't baton pass tail glows.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, tail glows or they're really good like anti-weather. 'Cause I believe they. I know. I had Volbeat, and so I knew Volbeat got sunny day. So if you wanna shut down weather that way, I don't know if they get like rain dance or anything. Let me see. I never used Illumise. Yeah, Volbeat gets rain dance and sunny day. Let me check Illumise. They both get. Pretty sure they both get tailwind. Illumise gets rain dance and sunny day, so they're both really good like weather counter. I'm pretty sure they both get tailwind. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
They both get U-turn, but Volbeat uses the U-turn a whole lot better with a much higher attack stat. And just overall, Prankster's an awesome ability, but it doesn't make sense to have two of basically the same Pokemon.
Yep, you got me there, man. But the rest of the team is solid. I really appreciate the speed tiers where 95, 110, 116, 135. I think that's really solid.
I do think he might have a little bit of a problem breaking through water, even though he does have the Zebstrika and the Tangrowth. But I do feel like it might be a little bit of an issue. A lot of bulky waters get good recovery, and so I think they might just be able to eat through that Zebstrika.
Well, it's funny too that you say that because he's got one of the bulky waters that doesn't have good recovery.
That's true.
So he does have 5 Mons that are weak to ground, but I guess you would say that it's counteracted by his Tangrowth and then those 2 awesome bugs that we keep bringing up.
Oh yeah, those amazing bugs.
Those amazing bugs.
God, don't get me started. I'm not the best fan of the Skuntank either.
I don't mind the Skuntank actually because it's so in my mind that works in tandem with the Mega Lopunny to trap the psychic types that Mega Lopunny just doesn't want to deal with. And even though it's a poison type, it's a poison dark. So like I don't know of many psychic types that get ground coverage, which is its only weakness. So it's like AV Skuntank is a fantastic switch in almost 100% of the time to any of the Mons that like Mega Lopunny really doesn't want to deal with outside of like steel types, I guess. But I think it works pretty well.
I think it'll work great for the psychics and a little bit for the fairies, but I don't know. I felt like maybe a Alolan Muck might have done that position a little better.
Maybe, yeah.
Or maybe
he gets Defog. It's another Defogger. He's got a lot of those.
Well, he has two Prankster Defoggers.
Yeah, and Napoleon, Latios, shit, Rhyperior might get it. I don't know.
He gets way too many special coverage moves on Rhyperior.
It's a weird one, right?
Like Surf, Ice Beam, Blizzard. I think it's Thunder even.
Well, that's just because he evolved from Rhydon back in the Gen 1 days, and they gave coverage to everything. Sure, Tauros can learn Fly. Why the fuck not?
Really?
I think so. At one point.
No.
I remember that being a meme. I'm not sure how true that is.
No, it doesn't get Fly. Get out of here. I would have seen that by now.
Yeah, no, definitely. That'd be a cool move. Fly Z, Tauros. Jesus. Anyway, so that was rank 8. We're halfway through the draft rankings at this point. On to Lunatic's team, the Brookhaven Bonnets. Volt Turn Core is unprecedented on this team.
Good lord, like, what, 4, potentially 5, 6, 7? God, 7 of his Pokemon?
Yep. I don't know if you're counting Smeargle in there, but you better, because it gets every move in the game.
I was counting Smeargle.
I think Whimsicott gets it too, right? So yeah, that'd be...
I counted Whims.
6 and 7. Good lord.
Yeah, that's crazy. You'll never know what's staying in and what's switching out.
Just have no idea.
All right, let's see what we got here too. Ooh, it is a very quad weak team. Good lord.
And that's not always a bad thing. I feel like it's more detrimental to a team to just have maybe 1 or 2 quad weak Pokemon, but if you have enough where there's a fire type weak Mega Scizor, fairy type weak Hydreigon, ground type weak Nihilego, and then grass type weak Seismitoad, there's so much coverage that your opponent feels like they have to pack on that maybe they throw, flamethrower on Togekiss instead of the Heal Bell or something. So they wind up kind of saddling themselves with more coverage in prep that they wind up not using, because you're not going to bring all of your quad weak mons every week. You're just not. But they still force prep, so I dig it.
Yeah, a lot of things I feel like won't be prepped for that way. Like Whimsicott won't be prepped for with the poison. Like no one's gonna run HP poison when they need to run either grass or fire specifically.
You say that, but I actually saw a replay earlier in DPO where somebody ran HP poison Mega Alakazam.
Oh my god, really?
It didn't work, but he ran it, so that's what counts. That's what we're talking about here.
I mean, my favorite one I ran was Rabombi with Choice Specs Hidden Power Steel because it outspeeds Mega Dancy by 1 point.
Yeesh. How did he not see that coming? That's a super obvious HP steal, definitely.
Turn 1 Oko.
Yeah.
I still lost, but that's okay. He's got a lot of things that are extremely hard to switch into, like Victini, Hydreigon, Crobat, even to an extent like Alolan Raichu. And you have to constantly be wary of like a Nihilego sweep. You have to like keep your sacks, keep them. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. It's too late. It's too late at night.
No, I know what you mean. You really have to whatever your Nihilego check is, you have to preserve it to the end if it gets brought in, like if it is brought to the match anyway.
And he does get like Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes on that, as well as that on Kofagrigus. I feel like though his Smeargle might have to come more than he wants, possibly, or it just may not come nearly at all if he just sticks Seismitoad with rocks every single week.
Well, really, just if he wants access to sticky webs, like that's really all Smeargle looks like to me. Like, because like Hydreigon, like Specs Hydreigon or Banded Hydreigon even, or like Nasty Bat or shit, even just Banded Victini. If you have sticky webs up, like that first V create, you essentially get for free.
Right.
Because of the speed drop, but
and he has like a somewhat decent Trick Room team if he wants it too.
Yeah, definitely. Beware is one of those mons that I've started using recently that I'm actually kind of in love with, and I love the chemistry between Beware and Nihilego. So Beware has a retarded HP stat. It's like 120 and access to Fluffy. So it's a super bulky, physically bulky mon, and that really contrasts well with Nihilego, who has great HP, great special defense naturally, but just shit physical defense. So they work really well in tandem together. So Beware just absorbs all of the earthquakes aimed at Nihilego. Although I guess I do kind of share a psychic weakness, so we're, whatever.
Yeah, but then you have to pick between Psyshock and Psychic, though.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Because Beware is not eating Psychics, but Nihilego might eat one or two. But Beware can eat the Psyshocks that Nihilego can't.
And then you've got Hydreigon that comes in for free and just eats your whole team. And that's just how it be sometimes.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on. I liked that team. That's one of my more favorite teams so far.
Ring number 7.
What is his name? Pikachu Zappy Zap? Oh, God.
Pikachu Zappy Zap, the Speed Tour King. I'm pretty sure he... Yeah, so we have Speed Tours in WPF where we have a Hall of Fame that catalogs each person who's won a Speed Tour and on what date they won it. I'm pretty sure at last tally, Pikachu Zappy Zap was the person who has won the most amount of Speed Tours. Pretty sure.
Good Lord.
He does them a lot.
I've only done a handful, and it's usually stuff I'm not good at, so it ends terrible.
It's a super quick little format where I feel super anxious the whole time because it's just go, go, go. You have to prep in 3 minutes, and then you got to battle, and
it's like
a little much.
A really speedy Speed Tour.
Really speed. Well, it's hence the name, right?
Oh no, the Speed Tours I've done are like 3 week long Speed Tours.
Oh yeah, no, like the whole thing will take like an hour.
Oh shoot! I need to try one of those out then.
Super quick. The Fairy Dragon Steel Core on this team is bananas.
B-A-N-A. Oh, sorry.
I mean, you can spell it if you want, if you're proud to know how it's spelled, I guess.
No, I don't know how it's spelled. I got stuck at N. Anyway,
that's actually all I got.
Anyway, Kieran Black and Mega Aggron will absolutely love the wish passing from Sylveon.
Yes.
Kieran Black will absolutely love the webs from Araquanid, and the fighting type attacks that Kieran really doesn't want to take. Neither Mega Aggron, Necrozma, and Nidoqueen should be able to eat those up, and Sylveon and Rotomi. Oh god, man, this is just getting better and better. And Araquanid,
It's a really good team.
I'm about to just Pokemon Splooge right now.
I feel like it doesn't have a fire type at all, but I almost feel like the team just doesn't really need a fire type.
Yeah, between like Nidoqueen and Kieran Black, what grass type will be able to live through those two?
Right, yeah. And then like if we're talking about like a fairy resist, I don't know of a better fairy resist than Mega Aggron. I just don't.
What steel type is going to be able to deal with combo of Mienshao and Nidoqueen? Nothing.
I don't know, man.
Nothing.
I will say too, in one of the speed tours that I last competed in, I drafted Mega Aggron for like the first time ever, and was astonished. So even if you like Mega Aggron doesn't have to worry about steel types or ground types if that's what you designate it to do, because it's just so massively bulky with its ability filter that I was like, you still eat hits from like Mega Lopunny, and then guess what? You OHKO it back with Heavy Slam. With the wish passing that it's going to be getting from, excuse me. It should be. Sorry about that. Oh man, everybody's awake now. with the wish passing, even if you just want to power through the physical hits with Mega Aggron, you absolutely can.
Oh yeah, it's so extremely bulky. One of my good friends in draft, he actually runs this thing more offensive usually. Like, it gets autotomized or rock polished, one of the two.
Yep.
And that's another thing people never prep for. They're trying to find a way to break through filter the best way they can, and then they get swept by a rock polish Mega Aggron or whichever one it gets.
It's 140 base attack. Like that. I think that's about the same as Mega Lopunny.
It does get rock polish.
Yeah, it's stronger than Mega Lopunny.
Mega Lopunny's 136.
Yep.
That's
crazy.
Stupid. This is one of the few Megas I've actually never tried.
I will say that one of the things that I don't like about the team as much is that there's no real ways to organically boost your stats. So like if you think about like setup sweepers or setup threats, this really isn't the team for that. Like you've got weakness policy, rock polish on Necrozma, you've got like Z Hail, Kieran Black, you've got rock polish Mega Aggron like we just talked about. But there's no huge like setup sweepers that are really jumping out at me. Like you've got little kind of tech options like Calm Mind Sylveon is a thing. I think Araquanid gets Curse maybe.
I don't think it does.
Well, then there you go. Like you've got Ditto for that, I guess.
Aggron gets Curse. Lilligant gets Quiver Dance, but even then, it's real easy to deal with a Lilligant.
Right.
Yeah, I think Ditto would be his option for setting up if he plays it that way. That's about it.
It's a dangerous team. I feel like you can bring the same 6 or 7 Mons every week and be totally cool. Just switch up the sets a little bit and call it good.
Mienshao gets Swords Dance, so that's at least something.
Does it? Wow, I didn't know that.
And then Necrozma could go either way with like Calm Minds or Swords Dances. So I mean, it's not the worst. But
that's another one of those Mons I wanted for my team because you can run it either way. And Stored Power is a really cool move, but alas, it was not meant to be.
Photon Geyser is a really cool move because it can be physical or special. I love that.
I think that's what I just said. Didn't I?
You said Stored Power.
Oh, yeah. I meant the one that makes sense, obviously.
Well, it gets Stored Power, so I mean, it didn't faze me.
Yeah.
This is the next team coming up. I almost called the Toronto Swab Blue Jays this team, but this is the one with the weird team name. And he didn't give us a logo.
What do you mean the weird team name?
Wombo Swambloos? Or Swamblos?
Wombo. Oh, God. Yeah,
Wombo
that team.
Swamblos.
Wombo's team.
I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a Swablu team or a Swampert team. As in, like,
I don't know, man.
The logo. So we got a little question mark here.
Looks like the Zygarde 50% team to me.
Oh, God. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Look at there.
All right, let's see what we got on this team. Uh,
It's interesting to see base Sharpedo drafted. You don't normally see just the regular Sharpedo form drafted, even though Speed Boost is allowed.
it's a really good Z move user.
Really?
Yes. It's another one of those Pokemon that's not prepped a whole lot for, because you're not really worried about it. You're thinking, well, it doesn't hit that hard, even if it gets up to +1 speed. I'm not too afraid. I have, X Pokemon to take that hit from it, and then it just like Z crunches you or Z whatever coverage move, because it does get a lot, and it can be run mixed fairly well too.
Yeah, because it gets like toxic. It gets all the fangs, like literally all the fangs. I think it gets like toxic fang, psychic fangs, electric, ice, fire,
It
stuff
gets
like that.
Ice Beam. Let's see what other special moves it gets. It gets Ice Beam, Blizzard, Dark Pulse, Hydro Pump. I mean, Round if you really want to go there.
Not normally, no.
No. So I mean, it's pretty decent ish coverage on special, and that's another thing to throw people off if you're going to go up against something that's quad weak to some of these coverage moves, and you drop a Z move on them.
I feel like this.
People don't prep for.
No, that makes. I might have to pick it up at some point. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like this entire team is built for the purpose of supporting Zygarde 50%. Because you've got two great hazard setters. You've got just a couple of breakers. There's a cleaner in Sharpedo. And then you've got like Jirachi can like Healing Wish up, Zygarde 50 like at the end of the match. But then you've got a couple of bulkier mons too that just kind of wear down the opposing team. So like Cragnole, Gastrodon, and Chestnut all get like good reliable recovery. Same thing with Pidgeot. And then Dusclops is just so retardedly bulky with Eviolite.
Oh my god, it's so annoying with Pain Split, Will-O-Wisp,
Yeah.
What's Seismic Toss. Oh, it's so annoying to break through.
Yeah. It's a really good team. I really feel like if that's the role that he was going for, he really successfully built around that idea.
I think the only like negative is I'm not the biggest fan of the Zangoose on the team.
No. Have you ever used Toxic Orb, Toxic Boost Zangoose before?
Not in draft, but I have used it on like Ranbats a whole lot.
That thing has 0 switch hits. It's fantastic. It's suicidal by nature, which is unfortunate. But it hits so hard, and it's relatively fast. I think it's like over 100 base speed. I think 105 maybe.
90 base speed.
90 base speed. So yeah, so 115 with the toxic boost. It's pretty strong.
Oh, I thought Toxic Boost only did like attack.
So it's 1.5 times your power. So I think it's both physical and special. But even then, 115 times 1.5. What is that like?
Oh, I thought you were talking about speed went up.
No. Just the power. It winds up.
I was very confused.
The attack stat is equitable to Mega Glade once it's poisoned. So if you, I don't know, give it a Toxic Orb or somehow manage to get Toxic Spikes on your side of the field, like that thing hits really hard.
I'm just more of a fan of like immediate offense, to where like I don't. It's probably a personal opinion more.
Yeah, because what I just described to you doesn't get much more immediate offense than
you have to get your Toxic Boost going. You can't just send it in turn 1 and go to town.
Well,
I'm more of like an Ampabomb fan over a Zangoose.
It's an all right mon for me. It's hit and miss. I don't know. Ambipomb's got cool coverage, but
it's just one of those things, I guess.
Just one of those things.
I like Mega Pidgeot here, as it's going to help a whole lot breaking through those pesky grass types that Zygarde might have a problem with.
Yep, and that may be one of the few things we pick on the team for is, again, no fire type for some reason.
Yeah. Between maybe Scolipede and Mega Pidgeot, he may not need one for grass specifically. And then he has Zygarde, which is one of the best steel breakers. And kind of the same thing with Magnezone if he just is having a problem with the steel type.
Sounds about right.
Alrighty. moving on to our second Seattle team, the Seattle Skymans.
The Final Four. I absolutely love this team. Again, going back to the whole, I like using quad weather, all weather aspects, whatever. This rain team kind of epitomizes what I really enjoy about weather, because you don't need to do the whole gimmick where you've got, Mega Bomb Snow and Ninetales and Beartic and all of these. He's really cherry picked the portions of weather that he wants to play with and have really capitalized on them, and I dig that. So Mega Houndoom and Sun with Torkoal, Mega Houndoom has 0 switch-ins. Like I want to say there's a calc floating around that I could find somewhere where a Mega Houndoom and Sun after a nasty plot, like 2 hit KOs, Eviolite Chansey with Fire Blast. It's retardedly powerful.
Good lord.
Something crazy like that. But he's also got, so Alola Ninetales is there to set.
Is this like?
Go ahead.
I must have messed this up or something. Or are we looking at the wrong one?
Yeah, the team's different. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Is this maybe like I may have done it like post drops or something?
Yeah, that might be the thing.
Rip.
Oops.
Big rip.
Well, we'll just roll with it for a second. All right, so the team that was
Ignore this.
Originally, ignore what's on the screen right now. Just listen to my voice. So when Ethan went through and drafted his team, he drafted Landorus Therian, Goodra, Mega Houndoom, Uxie, Victory Bell, and Torkoal, along with Alola Ninetales, Drapion Milotic, Skarmory, and Kanto Raichu. A little bit different from what you see on your screen there, but a lot of it is mostly the same.
He dropped this part of the sun.
Yeah, part of this. Well, one of the big parts of the sun. Anyway, again, I'm a huge Mega Houndoom fan. That 115 base speed is really good for it. I'll also say too that Victory Bell in Sun is fantastic. It gets access to Weather Ball, which in Sun turns into a Fire type move. So the Steel type Pokemon that would normally wall something like Victory Bell or Venusaur or Sawsbuck, even as Chlorophyll Sweepers go, is able to essentially OHKO them. The only thing that I don't really like about Victory Bell is that even though it's a great mixed attacker with its physical and special attack stat, it doesn't get access to like Hornleaf. It gets Strength Sap, but it's not quite the same thing.
It just has a problem getting its HP back, is what you're saying.
I found myself running Life Orb Giga Drain a lot on a special set, and it worked as long as you had stuff to Giga Drain, but, Sap Sipper Goodra is a thing, or Flying types. Miltank, yeah, that too.
I actually have a Victory Bell, free-for-all set that I love. That's the only place I've ever used Victory Bell.
Free-for-all? What's that?
You don't know what a free-for-all is?
Well, I don't know if that was a showdown.
Oh god.
Set or...
Okay, I'll tell you after.
Okay.
So in an Ubers league I'm in, I lost a game to a Mega Houndoom where it got 5 freaking kills because on the very final turn, it Dark Pulse flinched my Giratina Origin form.
Oh man,
I had it killed, and he flinched me on the final turn to kill me. It's a mega threat.
That's my boy. I love me some Houndoom.
And then Aurora Veil on the rest of this team as well. It's going to be extremely hard to break through a Milotic with a Flame Orb in Aurora Veil. What are you supposed to do to that?
It may sound weird too, having kind of conflicting weathers there, but they actually work really well in tandem. Where every time Torkoal switches out, obviously the sun is set. Ethan has, as long as he brings both of his weather setters, to reset that weather really at any time he chooses, rather than you bring Torkoal in if it's the only weather setter. It summons the drought, and then it's there for 5 turns regardless. Sometimes you can mess up kind of your weather turns at that point if you're not counting them correctly. So being able to reset and then set the appropriate weather you want at any point throughout the match is really a powerful tool for something that, I'm getting tongue-tied, for a team that relies on weather.
Only negatives I see is the weather might... he has ways to fix it, but he's going to have to predict well where, if Torkoal sets the sun up, well then Skarmory And Alolan, well, never mind, not Alolan. And Victor Bell are going to be extra weak to those fire types, as well as like Milotic now has the opportunity to be taking solar beams, and so people could use it against him pretty well.
Yep.
And then like the putting up the hail could boost those blizzards instead of people having to run like HP Ice or Ice Beams. They can start spamming Blizzard against this team as it doesn't have the best Blizzard switch-ins.
Right. Yeah. Landorus and Guja really don't appreciate the ice coverage.
All right. Well, let's get off this horrible, messed up slide that I did.
Ugh. So unprofessional.
I think even maybe this one is too. We'll see.
No, I don't think so. I think it's no. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, good. I see a Firo. Yeah. Okay, we're
Yeah,
good.
that's
We're good. As long as Firo's still there, we're good.
that was his round 11 kind of meme pick. It's not dual bugs, but it's still kind of a weird pick that you don't really see.
I mean, tier 5 is tier 5. Not everybody's gonna get good stuff out of it.
Only costs 20 points, man. It's a bargain.
Usually at that time, I'm stuck with a Pokemon in tier 5 more than found a good one.
Right. So this team is just fast. It's dumb fast. So he's got, I think, 3 Pokemon that are lower than base, like 80 speed. So it's like, oh no. So because Firo like sits at 100, I think. So it's just Steelix and Gyarados that are like 80 or lower. And Gyarados always runs Dragon Dance. Same thing with like Como-O. So he's got 143, 125, 105, 100, 95, 95, 95, 100. Really fast team.
I really like how he's pairing the Gyarados and the Zeraora, and kind of like, and a Celebi as well. So like Zeraora, they share. Okay. Mega Gyarados weak to electric. Zeraora can eat that up fairly well. Same thing with Celebi, Zeraora, and Darmanitan and Steelix all weak to ground. Celebi can eat those hits. Kind of just a nice synergy between all these Pokemon here.
Yeah, I really dig it. And if you, for some reason, find yourself needing more speed control on this team, Bombi's got sticky webs for you, because why not?
And Stun Spore, you know.
And Stun Spore. Never in my life will I run Stun Spore. So like 60% accurate? No thanks.
I think it's 75. That's not the worst. That's not the worst.
Could be worse. Could be better.
It could be like a Hypnosis or Stun Spore 75. That's not the worst. It's hitting Hurricanes.
Yeah. He's got pretty good hazard control. Decent way to set hazards. He's got Toxic Spike, a couple of Stealth Rock guys. It's a pretty well-rounded team.
Yeah, overall, I think this team could do pretty good.
Well, he's 3rd overall, so I would hope so.
All right, moving into the top 2, we're going to go into the Orlando Meowstic.
And Troy. Yep, so he's got a couple of weird mons on here, but I really think they do well to support the 4 or 5 kind of big names on the team. So like your Weavile, Mew, Mega Medicham, Nidoking are really well supported by Pyukumuku, who sets screens and dies. Swirlix, who sets sticky webs. And then he's got a really bulky Wish Passer that Rotom Heat and Registeel really appreciate.
I'm pretty sure Swirlix gets it too, doesn't it? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, Swirlix gets Wish as well. I just mentioned the sticky web portion.
Well, yeah, you could run like sticky web, focus sash, unburden, so that you can get your webs up, hit the sash, be faster, hopefully, wish, and die. I mean, that's pretty solid for a tier 5 pick, and it's better than Cutie Fly. Because like when I ran Cutie Fly, it is just set up fodder for days. Oh my god! Like, sure you can get your webs up, whatever turn you send it in, but then you better hope that you die quickly.
Yeah, man, that's about it. I'm not sure exactly if that's how the wish mechanic works. So I think, which correct me if I'm wrong, but if you wish with a Pokemon and then you die that same turn, what would normally be that second turn that you would get to wish back? I don't think you do, because the Mon that died, like that was their wish technically. Like it's based off of that Mon.
No, you still get it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just dumb then. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, next it's like a that steel move? Doom Desire and Future Sight. You know, if you die after you used it, it still goes off.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes.
I really like some of the faster Pokemon he has here in like Weavile and Superior. As like Metachan's not gonna be breaking through Psychics too well, and Weavile can help mitigate that problem. And Superior gives it a really good like setup sweeper with like Leaf Storms. Very good Choice Scarfer as well. Choice Superior is just so good on this team.
It's almost like a budget Ultra Beast almost, because it's getting its own Beast boost every time it's attacking something. At least with Leaf Storm.
I think the only downside would be maybe this Floatzel.
I don't know what it does. I know that it's
bulk up is usually what it does, or sets its own rain.
It's very fast. I know that. So like liquidation or aqua jets, like that's the thing. But outside of that, I'm not really sure.
It's really fast. It gets a decent amount of coverage moves. It's not that strong, but it can bulk up, but it doesn't have reliable recovery. So,
I don't know, man. Every team so far has had that one mon that I'm just scratching my head at.
They all in their own heads will tell us, what's going on, but we have no idea.
Yeah, well, and that is going to hold true as well for our first seeded team. This is the Tampa Bay Mega Rays, my good buddy Nathan's team. The one mon that I kind of scratched my head at that I actually understood in week 1 was Mischievous. So this team functions really well because it's a Mismagius pre-evolution that gets Levitate. So for something like Volcanion and Tapu Koko, just having that ability to levitate and completely miss an Earth or a Ground type move is super powerful.
I thought you were gonna say Munchlax, to be honest.
No, Munchlax is great though. I love me some Munchlax.
Really? In draft?
Yes.
I guess I'll have to. I've never seen Munchlax in draft. I thought that
Munchlax was fantastic.
I thought that might have been like a meme pick or something.
No, I gotta find a replay for you. I forget if it was last season or in another league where somebody ran Munchlax. It was like a rest, sleep talk, curse, body slam set, and it 6-0'd somebody. It was fantastic. But on this team, I don't know how this man drafted the draft that he got, because in the first 3 rounds, he managed to get Tapu Koko, Hawlucha, and Mega Alakazam. And between those 3, it puts on so much offensive pressure, both direct and not passive, but like you have to set up sort of with Hawlucha, that it's such a pain to prep for.
I can see how Lucha makes it back to the Tapu team. A lot of people don't realize that Hawlucha is so valuable by itself even. And so they just kind of like allow it to happen. Kind of like when someone drafts like a rain setter or a sand setter, they don't really go, oh, quick, we have to grab Excadrill or Mega Swampert away from them.
Right.
It's just kind of like, well, they have Pelipper. They can have Mega Swampert, I guess.
Well, and you're right, too. Like, Hawlucha functions very well on its own. Like, the unburdened users are very much able, like, if you can get kind of a techie set together where you've got like a white herb like curse set or something, like that works really well as well, outside of like Tapu Koko Electric Seed gimmick.
So like, of course not for here, but I grabbed Hawlucha in a baton passing legal league, as long as you don't pass speed and stats. And so I passed bulk ups to a 0 aura and got a 6-0 week 1.
Yep, I believe that.
And I was getting roasted for. I found out Hawlucha was there in like round 10. I was like, deal, I'll take it. And so people will sleep on it just by itself, even.
Right.
I like that he got a nice Toxic Spike setter with Roserade. I feel like that'll really help this team out a lot, and a pretty okay spinner in Avalugg. Not the best,
yeah,
but
that may be one of the few things that I really can kind of poke fun at him, is that there's not very much hazard removal, and the hazard removal he's got isn't fantastic.
Yeah, like they're all weak to rocks. Like, I think does Volcanion get defog? It does. So Volcanion's weak to rocks. Avalugg's weak to rocks. Tapu Koko.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. if he's forced to have to run defog on Hawlucha, that's gonna be sad. But
it's a dire day. You're running defog on Hawlucha.
that's like defog Kartana. It's not a good day if you have to run that.
Yeah.
I don't think he has quite the best like dark type switch ins minus the Escavalier. I mean, a little bit of the Coco, but because you don't really want to be switching in your Hawlucha defensively too often, as you're trying to keep as much HP as you can for the late game sweep. But like Mischievous isn't gonna like knockoffs. Mega Alakazam's not gonna like knockoffs. No matter what item you have on Volcanion, you're gonna want to have that. And then Munchlax, if it's the EV Light user, you really don't want that knocked off either.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Solid though. I really liked it.
Yep. Overall, it's a solid team, and hopefully he can stay number one. And it's not going to be Rizzo.
No, it's definitely not going to be me.
You're telling me after being in all 4 leagues at once, you couldn't at least be in the one that you're the best at?
You know, like, I made it to playoffs in B Division, which is why I allowed myself to be just in A Division this season. But we'll see how it goes, because I'm 1-0 so far. Nathan, looking at you. But we'll see how the rest of the season turns out.
All right. If you guys want to talk in the comments about what you think about what we talked about your team and where your rate is, feel free. We'll try and talk to you back a little bit, or at least I will. And these are all opinion based, a little bit on some facts and some numbers, but it is somewhat opinion based, and so don't roast Rizzo too hard.
Oh no, feel free. Like, completely tear my rankings to shit. Have at it.
Tell
It'll be
him
great.
he's the worst, especially in C tier. We'll get to that in a couple of days. So
I'm used to it.
the goal, if you guys have made it this far, is going to be this goes up Tuesday, B goes up Wednesday, C goes up Thursday, and D goes up Friday. That's the goal. We'll see if it happens, but that's the goal at this point. And we hope you guys can stay for all 4.
That'd be great. Love to have you.
Any final thoughts, Rizzo?
No, excited to be here. Excited to talk about this with you guys. Hopefully we can get some of the C and D division mods on for the other 2 drafts, so you don't have to just listen to us talk to each other.
Because we're boring.
You are boring. I am not.
Okay. Well, we will see you guys tomorrow in the B division draft, or the PRs. Peace out, guys.
See ya.